Hey YouTube, Chris here. Today I wanted to do a comparison between this brand new guitar that I just got yesterday and this guitar that I've had for getting on 20 years or so. This is the Slash Appetite for Destruction, but don't be fooled by the logo. This is a Chinese Gibson Les Paul copy or replica. This is the actual thing. This is my Les Paul Classic. I have another video on this if you wanted to check that out. This guitar is from 1995 and I bought it in 98, and it's a Les Paul Classic, so they've sort of modified some of the things from the standard, and I just wanted to do a comparison between them because the reason I ordered this because I was really curious about how this would shape up against the real thing, and this guy arrived yesterday. I gotta say, overall first impression, this thing is pretty awesome. I live in Canada, so in the end, with a couple extra specs, I asked for a one-piece body so that this part would just be one piece of mahogany and a one-piece neck, and it looks like that's what they did. Each one of those customizations was 25 extra, so 50 extra. In total, with the conversion to Canadian dollars, this thing was 400 bucks, and that included the shipping. This guitar was $2,300. This is a fantastic guitar, but from a cost value difference, for a fraction of the cost, this thing is pretty sweet. I bought this through Angela's Guitar. Angela was very, very good at communicating. She got back really quickly to me on my messages. Her English was really good. I spoke to a couple other sellers before. Not so good. Their English was pretty bad and I couldn't really understand what they were saying. She was quite good about things. The only negative comment I really have is that I asked for a hard shell case, which she charged me $70 extra for, so that this thing would be sent in the case. I thought that would be better protection for it. They just sent it in the foam box, and but you know, what can you do? I let her know. She actually just refunded it today, the 70 bucks to PayPal, no problems, and it arrived fine in the foam box. There was no damage or any problems or anything like that. No scratches, no bent stuff, nothing was broken. Everything's quite good. So let's go over some of the differences here. I also asked them to try to slim the neck up. I didn't know what kind of neck it is. Slash's guitar is a 59 replica himself. By the way, if you don't know that, Slash's Les Paul for Appetite for Destruction is not a real Gibson either. It's a copy made by Chris Derrick, who is an American luthier. He passed away, but he made that particular guitar, which had its own unique tone to it. And so I thought if I was going to get a replica too that said Gibson, why not do it in the Slash model? So it was part of the motivation for it. When we go through things, the finish on the body looks fantastic. Now, I doubt it's a maple cap like this has. It's probably just a veneer, but the veneer turned out really great. It's more of an amber burst look than Slash's is maybe a bit more yellow faded to look more like a 59, but I kind of like this color, and I saw it in the picture and it was great. So the top, fantastic. The back is also quite nice. The mahogany it's good, you know, it's solid. I don't really see any flaws or anything in it. It doesn't look like they glued anything together to make it. The neck, same thing I would say about it. The headstock looks really, really good, especially next to this one. One thing you will notice is that the real Gibson logo, there's kind of like an opalescence. You know, it looks like pearl, and when you shine the light on it, you can see the colors change in it. This one doesn't have that. So you can see the difference right away. They did do the slash logo thing, which is pretty cool actually. The tuners are the Clouson style Gibson Deluxe, and they're pretty good actually. They turn quite smoothly. They actually turn better than these on the real Les Paul. But these are like 20 years old, so you're not going to compare. But I'm probably going to leave the tuners in. The truss rod cover is kind of cheap looking. It's kind of, I don't know, weird plastic. I'll probably just change that, but that's not really a big deal. Fret inlays, really nice looking. They did a great job with those. These ones have been aged on purpose to give it a more vintage look. This one, they just kept them, you know, more modern looking, which is great. The binding, in terms of it going around the body, looks really nice, and around the neck. Where you're going to see a flaw and where the cheapness gets in the way is where it was glued in around the surface. You can see some flaws, especially here, and they just didn't do the greatest job there, but that's a pretty minor point. Nothing huge, not really that big a deal. And the pickups, you know, they kind of have that cheaper yellowy kind of look to it that this one doesn't have, but they're going to be changed out with the Slash Alnico 2 Pro Seymour Duncan pickups anyway, so it's not really going to matter. I was fairly impressed with the bridge. It's pretty solid. Nothing really moves or anything like that. It's got the wire retainer here, so you know it looks a lot like the Gibson one, and it really not bad at all. And the one flaw they did do, and I'm not sure how this is going to play out in the long run, is the posts. They're not really straight. They kind of bend backwards a bit. That was poorly done. But I took the guitar out of the box, tuned it, and it was pretty much in tune out of the box and playable. It wasn't horrible or anything like that. It is going to get a setup, but not bad, all things considered. Other things, the nut, not my favorite, but it's not terrible either, but it will get changed probably with a Tusk TUSQ nut for better sustain. And the knobs on it are the older fashioned ones with the sort of chrome top to them, which Slash has. These are the more normal Gibson ones, which are awesome. It doesn't have the marking spot on there, but I might add that on to give it a more old-fashioned look. I think that's kind of cool. It's not really a big deal to buy those. The knobs are not in the right spot, so I'm at like 8 here instead of 10, but you just take them off. And one thing you do notice is when you turn them, they're kind of lopsided. They kind of are weird. They weren't put on really good, but again, that's an easy fix, not a big deal. Another thing you notice is the rhythm treble sort of circle thing here is not centered. It looks a little cheap. The Gibson one obviously looks superior. Again, you can change that out, and the switch is one of those longer kind of switches. This is a shorter one on the Gibson. I had a copy before, and it was like this too. So minor things. The plates on the back have kind of like a satin sort of finish to them, and I don't know, or matte finish, sorry, not satin, and I don't know, they're fine. I haven't looked inside yet, but obviously that it's gonna get changed out, the electronics, so not a big deal. So overall, this thing's pretty sweet for 400 bucks. It's better than I expected it to be, so not bad. If you're gonna go this route, make sure you do your research and send them specs. Don't just buy something flat out of the box and hope it's gonna work. Instead, do your research, talk to the seller, make sure you go the right route with that.